Immersion, a meme yet a true reality we want to experience in Skyrim. Immersion was and still is memed upon, but people like myself crave this immersion. What's a better way to be more immersed than being in VR? And what makes it even better is the mods that we can add to our game to increase that immersion. True immersion. I want to become my character. I want to roleplay as my character like I do with Wolfram in my roleplay. Today is the third installment of Skyrim VR Top 10 Mods. If it wasn't obvious enough, we are going to cover immersion. Some mods could be small, while others massive. Before we begin though, if this video helped you decide on a mod or you simply enjoyed the input from this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more VR and funny moment content from my channel. I also stream on Tuesday and Friday on 3 platforms, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. There's a link tree in the description. As well as every other mod in this video, all the links to those will be in the description as well. Now let's hop right into the other reality. First off, we'll talk about the mods that the player can utilize if that makes sense. Here's an example and our first mod, To Your Face VR. It's a very simple mod, but it solves my irks and pains from the dialogue from Skyrim VR. When you, the player, walks around the plains of Skyrim, the people of Skyrim tend to speak their mind without you facing them, or even, not being in their general direction. And it tends to bug the hell out of me, especially Nazim, that arrogant son of a gun. I'm just minding my own damn business, and he wants to boast about the Cloud District. I swear to Talos, I will send that man to the actual cloud. Dragonborn speaks naturally, a speech recognition mod for VR. Well, not particularly for VR, but it's still a must-have for VR. It's practically a must-have if you want the immersion. You can literally speak to the people of Skyrim if they're asking you questions, or if you just talk to them. If only you could just poke on them and just grab their attention quickly, but with consent. Always have consent. The mod will recognize your words and match them together with the selections from the selected dialogue the game gives you, and will recite those selections to the game, like you're actually talking to somebody, unlike myself. I need more friends. Our third mod on the list is Dual Wield Block VR, another simple mod but does so much, and it adds a bit more realism and immersion to the game. As the topic of this is immersion. Ever wanted to dual wield a set of weapons, maybe because you want to create a Ronin-like character and have a Tanto and a Katana, or something of the sort, yet you can't block because Skyrim VR doesn't let you do that? Well, this mod changes that. Clearly from the name, Dual Wield Block VR. Do you want to become that Ronin ninja spell sport thing you wanted to do, but you couldn't? Well, now you can. You can use one weapon to block while you have your other one prepared, and you can swing and just go at it. Go nuts. Have fun. It's a really good mod to have, especially increasing that immersion of the combat. If only you could parry castles. Immersive Gathering, mining and chopping VR. It does what it says. Without it, the character instantly acquires the items, particularly the ores and the wood. With VRAK, however, the player avatar goes absolutely nuts, and your head will literally get slung around like a bola, causing nausea and a bad case of vertigo. Personal experience acquired. With the mod installed, the player has to physically do the motions of swinging the pickaxe and the woodcutter's axe to acquire the materials. This also eliminates the potential rapid light tapping you could do, meaning you must have the correct amount of force to get the ores and wood. It's a nice change of pace, especially when you tie it into another mod that will be featured on in this video. Weapon Throw VR. Another mod that's straight to the point. With Weapon Throw, you're able to throw your weapon and have a multitude of things to happen when you use it. It's configurable to your liking. I personally made the more immersive approach. The clips say otherwise, but I'd change it later on. Anyway, others made it to where you throw the weapon shortly after it would come back to you and so forth. Kind of like a boomerang. I like to keep mine as realistic as possible until I get something in the game that could change that feature, like the telekinesis spell. But these options are all up to the player, in this case, you. Better resource warnings. In many games are visual indicators that something is happening that is occurring to you or from the character that the player is playing as. Skyrim VR doesn't have a whole lot of that, just bars of health, magicka, and stamina. This mod fixes that with its customizability. You can have your headset blur or tint to a different shade to go with your gameplay and so on. The mod already has a few things in place like audible breathing if your stamina is low, like my fat ass, or your heart beating if your health is declining like my will to live. I've set my settings to tint red with health, a slight bit of blur, and a tint of black and white for magicka. Stamina I've left alone as the breathing is enough for me to realize, hey, you're fat. Slow down. Even though that's just me in reality. Speaking of slowing down, you need to take a break and navigate through Skyrim, but you don't want to break the immersion with the overview of the map that the default game gives you. Do you want to use an actual roadmap of Skyrim and each of its holds? Well, Navigate VR can accomplish those for you, especially with VRIK where you can holster the maps and the compass. Also note that the compass is actually in fact pointing north. No matter where you are in Skyrim, it is true to its immersion. This is truly an immersive mod and asks you to have great navigation skills throughout Skyrim. But sometimes you need to take a break at an inn and relish the scenery of the cities, which this next mod can do. Take a seat. Live the life that's Skyrim. Although before the upcoming mod, sitting isn't exactly engaging or better yet, immersive. Be seated allows you to, well, be seated but physically. When the player walks toward a chair, bench, penetrator, or anything that the player could sit on, be seated prompts you to take a seat physically when you want to place a sit. After you've selected the chair, you take that physical seat, whether you're on the floor or a chair like my fat ass does. You will be more immersed into the inns across Skyrim. But wait, there's even more to it. If you press a specific button, like for the index, it's the trigger button, your character will cough like a rude SOB and a wench will come to you and take your order, or have a casual conversation, whichever you prefer. You could pair this with Dragonborn Speaks Naturally to have an even more immersive experience. Once you've ordered your meal, a shelf will come to you with your desired meal. You will then have your meal in your hands ready to eat, which you actually have to interact with to eat the meal. What's more immersive than eating a delicious meal in a game that you can't have in reality because you're a lazy SOB like I am? Plus, I'm picky. Anyway, the eating doesn't really have to do much in Skyrim unless you have a needs mod. The one I've been most delved into and delighting over is SunHelm Survival. I used I Need and Realistic Needs and Diseases before in SE, but SunHelm just has something I thoroughly enjoy, and I don't know what it is, but it's amazing. With its customization, you can set it to whatever you so desire. Having needs in Skyrim is putting you more into the game. The immersion just increases tenfold with a needs mod. Your character needs nourishment and sleep, and not potions 24/7. If I could live off a soda like that, my teeth would be gone and I would be dead, probably. Configurations are simple to set up. For example, I wanted the needs to be quick, yet not so demanding. I still wanted to have that sense of needing sleep, water, and foods, as well as curing illnesses. SunHelm does have a hypothermia mechanic, but you can counteract that with another mod that I thoroughly enjoy, which the next mod is that. A double feature, as a matter of fact, Campfire and Frostfall. These mods have the best reputation in giving the world of Skyrim its proper seasons and proper harsh weather environments. Whether I'm freezing my ass off in a blizzard near Windhelm or drying up in the sun of Whiterun. Frostfall requires Campfire, so first we'll discuss Campfire. Campfire is a camping mod, kind of out there already, that was made from the original system of Frostfall. It allows you to gather resources, create and buy equipment for camping, whether it's a backpack with your favorite divine guiding you like Akatosh or Talos, or tents that you made from fur or leather. You can expand those to include your followers with a maximum of 4 bedrolls. Campfire is lightweight, so the impact on your game is very slight, and it's fantastic. Campfire also adds skill trees that can be accessed through the embers of your campsite. SunHelm also has a skill tree that can be accessed through that camp as well. They work hand in hand with each other very well. Just make sure you add the required patches through the installer. Now, onto the meat that makes the immersion even more possible. Frostfall, a hypothermic mod that makes you have to survive the harsh weathers that make Skyrim. If you want true immersion, Frostfall is your calling, like it is mine. Frostfall tracks your game's time, location, clothing, current conditions, and so on. With the required campfire mod, it adds those resource gathering and camping materials to make you be able to survive the cold that is Skyrim. It will even work with your overhaul mods and your character's factions and beast racers like Argonians and Khajiits, or being the form of a truly mythical being like vampires and werewolves. It will adjust to your player's conditions, and it just adds even more to the immersion. Frostfall is configurable to an extent to see if you want a harsher experience or a more pleasant-ish one. And here's a bonus mod for you: Wet and Cold. It allows the people of Skyrim to wear gear suitable to the current weather conditions, whether it's the ashes of Solstheim or the snow from Skyrim. It even adds dripping effects after it has rained or a character has swam, as well as breathing in the cold environments. Frostfall is probably one of my favorites of the bunch, but all of these paired together can create the best experience. Surviving Skyrim with your followers and watching others wear and prepare for the weathers is a truly immersive experience, especially if you're just warming up in an inn around others who just want to get out of that poor weather. The amount of immersion you can get into Skyrim can be truly drastic, and it's truly pleasing. This is just 10 of the many immersive mods you could have to Skyrim, and I could make more. I have plenty on my mod list that can actually contribute to these. Well, that's it for this top 10 immersive mods you could have for Skyrim VR. Be sure to endorse the mods if you've downloaded them to support the creators and encourage them to do more. Or if you just want to give them pride, at least I hope they get pride from it. All the links for these mods will be in the description below, as well as my link tree for my socials and streaming platforms. If you liked any of the mods or found this helpful, be sure to like the video. Also, you can see these mods in action on my Skyrim VR roleplay series, which is in the card above, that is posted every Sunday morning CST, Central Standard Time. If you're interested in other VR content as well as comedic moments, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of the future videos. And one last thing is, keep your soul free.